Hello everybody, we're doing lab 3, boot the computer. Now let's see if it'll boot this time. Yes, it's booting. Now watch the screen. The contrast may not be what I want it to be. Oh, F12 boot options, BIOS revision A11. Good. Now it said hit F12 and I was a little slow. So we're going to do that again. I've got 2 keyboards, 2 mice, 3 monitors, and several computers here. Okay, so I'm booting. Watch the screen. Don't worry. F12, BIOS revision A11. Okay, I hit F12. And I was too slow again. Okay. One more time. Ooh, I'm going to do Control-Alt-Delete this time. There we go. I'm going to hit F12. Yes. Oh, BIOS revision A11. You saw it really well that time. I hit F12. Oh, maybe I was a little slow. No, I wasn't. Look at that. So we have some information on the screen. Notice the messages up here. Some boot options to choose from, what I want to boot to. You can boot from the network. You don't even need a hard drive and a CD. And some other options. We're going to go into BIOS setup. Don't worry, the colors will be vivid in a moment. So I have to do a small adjustment here. Let's change that. I had it all set up. Maybe it was the white balance. No. Maybe it was the backlight compensation. No. Maybe it was the brightness. No. Oh, I'm sure it was the exposure. Yes. There we go. Now I'm going to go back and deal with the contrast. There we go. Anyway, you're seeing me work on the fly. I tried this last night. It was a little too late. So I'm a little better now. So apply. So now we're going to go through the BIOS settings. Great. We've overcome our first hurdle. It's much easier when you don't have to record it. So we're doing the introduction. We're going through this. You have a copy of that. I've printed everything. We're going to go through step 1. I basically went through step 1, powered it on, and booted. Step 2, during post, you saw post in the previous screen. Press the BIOS setup key. Well, you remember what I pressed. It was F12. The BIOS setup program will appear. And it asks again, what is the key or combination of keys used to enter the BIOS setup program? I've already stated that. Who manufactures the BIOS for the computer? Well, that was on the previous screen. What is the BIOS version? That was on the previous screen. Okay, step 3. List the main menu options and describe what is monitored in each menu. So what I'm going to go through these. Okay, I have to make sure I'm using the right mouse. There we go. Got my recording mouse and I got my second computer mouse. So we're going to go through these. This opened up right away. We've got settings. Main menu options and describe what is monitored in each menu. Okay, we've got settings general. So we have system information. There's a scroll bar here. Boot sequence, date and time. Now you can stop on these. I'm just reading them out as I'm going through them. Your instructor will elaborate on some of these. So that was integrated NIC, serial port, SATA operation, drives, smart reporting, USB configuration, miscellaneous devices. So video, multi-video display. I'm actually going to leave those open so that I know what the last one was. So security. Ooh, there's a number of settings here. Let's see if I can use my mouse. Yeah, I can use my mouse. I don't have to use my... There we go. So admin password, system password, internal HDD-0 password, strong password, password configuration. password bypass, password change, TPM security, CompuTrace. I think the R means registered trademark. Chassis intrusion, CPU XD support, ORM keyboard access, signed firmware update, admin setup, a lockout, performance. I'm going to close some of these. Getting a little too busy. So performance, multi-core support, Intel step speed, C-state control, Intel turbo boost. Next is power management. AC recovery, auto on time, deep sleep control. Now this is interesting. In our labs, we're remotely controlling them and waking them up. If this is not disabled, I had some real problems waking them up. I had to go for a walk, which I enjoyed. So post behavior, numlock LED, keyboard errors, post hotkeys, fast boot. Whoops. Mouse is not as responsive as I'd like it to be in the BIOS. There we go. Because it's not an operating system, we can't fine-tune the mouse. Okay, so virtualization support. Virtualization. I run virtual machines. That's like having multiple computers on the same computer. I can run Linux. I even have Windows 3.1 running in a virtual machine. 40 megabytes. That's how big that operating system was. Oh, there's the service tag. Look at that. You may be asked for that in the future. Okay. That was maintenance. Image server. Let's see, image server. A lot of stuff here. I'm not going to read it all. System logs. Now these are interesting. You can see if there was any problems. And there was a lot because this is a trainer. Look at all that. Time of day isn't set, things like that. Okay, now I'm going to clear the log. Yes. Now I have a fresh, clean slate to begin with. So that was step 3. So step 4, navigate through. I'm not going to read the first line of each of these steps. Navigate and find the security settings. What security setting and features are available? So I don't have to navigate through each screen and find them because I see the word security here. I've already navigated through all the screens. So let's explore this security. There you go. That tells you what all those settings and features are. Okay, step 5, navigate through each screen to find the CPU settings. Okay, I believe they're not in general. Oh, it could be in general. There's some system information here. And then this is configuration. Okay. So that's step 5. Next page. What is, you have some questions you have to answer. What is the CPU speed? What other information is listed for the CPU? Well, this is all the information that's listed. Step 6, navigate through each screen to find the RAM settings. Well, I believe the RAM settings are here. Okay, dry air. I've got the hums. So, step 7, navigate through each screen to find the hard drive settings. Now, I believe those would be in system configuration. SATA operation. Well, that's one of them. Here's another one. So these are the hard drive settings. Step number 8. There might be more information in the hard drive settings, guys. You can go back. You guys can go back and go through that. I've gone through every screen with you, so if I've missed something, you can go back and do that. Okay. So that was number 7 for the hard drive settings. Number 8, navigate through each screen to find the boot order sequence. So, right in front of me, I see boot sequence. Now, these are the boot devices available to you. We don't have a diskette drive, so I'm going to eliminate that right away. So this isn't the sequence. These are the boot devices available to you. You set the order here. So the first boot device in the boot order sequence is by default, it's this one, the hard drive, then the USB storage, then the CD-ROM, then the NIC. There's only 4 here. Yep, I only selected 4. So step number 9, ensure that the first boot order device is the optical drive. Well, we can click on it and move it up. There we go. Ensure the second boot order device is a hard disk drive. Well, that's the hard disk drive. I select it and I move it up. Why would you change the first boot device to the optical drive? You can answer that question. What happens when the computer boots and the optical drive does not contain bootable media? You can answer that question. Step number 10, navigate through each screen to find the power management setup screen or a CPI screen. What power management settings are available? I don't have to navigate through everything. I would say it's in here. So I'm going to go through those. Now you can do some cool stuff here. I like AC recovery time because in case you have an accidental power off, and you're away from home, you want your computer to come on. I have mine come on every day at midnight, or you can schedule certain times. So there's a lot involved in managing a PC, and as a technical support here at Mohawk College, I have to understand all of this, and we've changed a lot of the settings in our labs in the BIOS. So this is some pretty cool stuff. Get to know your BIOS, but don't play too much with your BIOS at home. You want to be able to recover and log in and boot your computer. You don't want to lock yourself out. Okay, well, that's a wrap. You can also change settings in here and then apply. You can go back to defaults. I'm just going to exit. I don't want to change anything. And the computer turned off. So that's a wrap.